Good morning, planet Earth. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We're at IDK, my BFF Jill 730. I'm Preston L. Young, wishing you warm salutations and congratulations as always. You've made your way to the Buffyngton Post.
Stay with us!
Alright, so today we are getting our final issue of Season 11 of Buffy. It's issue number 12. I didn't look up the title, but let's go ahead and give ourselves a big round of applause. We made it. It took a whole year, but only a year, which is what I'm going to get to. But, yeah, after last month's issue, what with Buffy draining away all the Slayer power and putting it all in herself, like wham bam poof, I've just been not thrilled. And the fact that this is our last issue of the season is just kind of throwing me for a loop, you know what I mean? Because, like, the thing about it is, Buffy's been doing this really big thing, like, I had to get props and everything, right? Like, big ideas, big stuff. But it's not really big enough for me, because it's actually quite small, and I'll get into that. But I want to talk about the fact that issue number 12 is our season finale. And that's just a problem for me, because I'm used to these very long seasons of Buffy. Now, on the one hand, I get it. Like, we talked about this at the end of season 10, how every season of the Buffyverse that has existed in the comic books has been a whole new world of new shit. Like, they just reboot, they revamp, as twere. Every season, it's a new game. It's a whole new game. Every season ends with a complete game changer. Destruction of magic, restoration of magic, Buffy controls magic, and now she's whatever's gonna happen at the end of this issue today that we're gonna get. And so, by the way, I've been up all night, and I just couldn't sleep. I fell asleep at like 8:30, and I woke up at midnight, and I tried to go back to sleep, and I'm just like, so if I sound a little crazy, it's because I feel a little crazy. But yeah, anyway, and so we've had season 8, which is like 43 issues if you count like the Sam and Riley one, Goddesses and Monsters, and the Tales of the Vampire. So it's like 43 issues in season 8, which is a hefty chunk of season. And then when you look at season 9, you've got 25 issues of Buffy, but then you also have 25 issues of Angel and Faith. And season 9 is very much intermixed, and the world is really working together in season 9, which I feel like people don't give enough credit, but whatever. And so each of those books has 25 issues, and so you've got a 50-issue season, but then on top of that, you've got 5 books for Willow and 5 books for Spike, and so you've actually got a 60-issue season, which is a good, healthy season, and I really love the way that everything really kind of comes together, minus that icky Spike book, in season 9. And then in season 10, we've got 30 issues of Buffy proper, and then we had another 25 issues of Angel and Faith, and while they were kind of intertwined a little bit, they were definitely trying to settle them in their own spaces at that point in time, but still, you've got 55 issues for season 10 if you really want to put them all together. But either way, you've got 30 for Buffy and you've got 25 for Angel and Faith, which is awesome. And so this season we have 12 issues, and like I was saying, like they have to reboot it every season so that they can keep things fresh and allow for new people to come in. I don't know who these new people are that are coming in. If you're new, like, congrats, I applaud you, but I just don't see it. And so the length of the season is problematic in what the season is trying to do, because Buffy has been exploring these great big political ideas, and like Slayer Justice Warrior, or Social Justice Slayer? I think that makes more sense, but it doesn't roll off the tongue as easily. So anyway, so she's doing this big thing, and it's supposed to be like, oh, about the people, but it's really just all about Buffy, you know what I mean? It's all about Buffy. There are people all over the United States that have been affected by this, like, magical internment camp situation, but we don't deal with any of those people. We don't deal with what Billy's going through. We don't deal with what Anahit is going through. We barely, like, touch up with, like, Sam and Riley. We don't know what Satsu's up to during this whole situation. Is she, like, working for the government too? We really don't know. And so for them to be doing such big things and making it all about Buffy and her people instead of actually taking the time to explore these great big themes with a lot of different people and from a lot of different vantage points, it's kind of antithetical. It's oxymoronic, really, because if we're supposed to feel like Buffy is standing up for the little man, the fact of the matter is she's just kind of standing up for herself, which is, all well and good. Everybody needs to stand up for themselves. But on top of that, she's standing up for the demons and the vampires and all that extra, and while they're going so far out of their way to kind of humanize and personify the demons and the vampires, it's like, what's your mission statement, Buffy? We haven't been to the cemetery all season. Look, we just haven't been. We've gotten so far away from what Buffy's about, and I feel like it's just been trying to get like super cute and do this political thing, and more power to you. They've been doing what they've been doing pretty well. I just don't think that the execution is as good as it could be, because like what's the point? Like, I don't know, it just seems very self-involved. It seems very self-involved and self-congratulatory, and it doesn't make sense for them to have this great big deal and only have it affect a handful of people. And we meet some of the other folks in the internment camp, but the only one we really get to know is like, what's her name? Calliope, who was already like a San Francisco Wiccan. It's like, we need to explore more than just the very far left. It's like very far left, and it's kind of bothersome, because there's a whole nation of people with ideas, and they aren't really being explored in a fair way necessarily, and we just can't rush through this. Like the introduction of Faith, wham bam, she's here, like surprise, she's here, and then we took her powers after we made her ugly for an issue. It's not time well spent. That's what I'll say. It's not time well spent when you're dealing with such big topics. So that's a whole thing. And now there are other problems, like Giles. Giles is a big problem. We know that we're getting this miniseries, whatever, we've talked about it, but it's just dumb. Like, you bring Giles back, he's Kid Giles, love Kid Giles, great idea. It really turns the Buffy and Giles dynamic on its head, and, having to be a really young person, like, Buffy and her cohorts, with the exception of Spike, are all, like, young, but, like, Giles is super young, and so that whole dynamic is completely gone. We don't get to play with that at all. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like the intention was to, excuse me, I feel like the intention was to have Giles miniseries kind of in this season, and then have Giles kind of come back at the end after he's like done his high school shenanigans. But clearly that's not what happened. And so the other big problem is like, Dawn, what you doing, babe? We kept in the magic rule book that Dawn could just willy-nilly open portals at will. Okay, great. So why is anybody in the internment camps? I mean, really, like, why? She could, like, no, like, it doesn't make sense. And then Buffy's like, oh, flee the country. No, just hop into an alternate dimension for a couple days, poke your head out and see if the world's gone to shit or not. Like, why give Dawn superpowers if you're not going to utilize them? Like, use Dawn to get rid of the dragon, right? Use Dawn to open up a portal and push the secretary through. Like, it doesn't make sense. Okay, and then and then we've got the book, like the new rule magic book, and the friggin' magical council, which is like absolutely nowhere to be seen. They're nowhere to be seen, guys. Why did we have Buffy be the head of this magic council if we can't even call him up when shit's hitting the fan? And I mean, it's a problem for all of them. Because, I mean, apparently they're all American except for, like, Dracula. Like, they all seem to be American, which is ridiculous in the first place. But hey, it's a problem for all of them. And, you know, another thing is I don't know how this problem hasn't gone more global. I don't know why there isn't this, like, magic panic all over the world. Which, again, we could explore if we had more than 12 issues. And so, like, the Magic Council is one thing because they're super powerful. But also, we literally have a book that whatever you write in it comes true. Problem solved. It's so dumb. And another thing, okay, so everybody was like, oh, where's this Morgan character? Well, she doesn't exist because she's Jordan. They changed the name, and they were like, oh yeah, and we're gonna see Harmony. Did I miss her? Because I've been covering these things for literally a year now. Did I miss something? Did Harmony show up somewhere and, like, are my pages glued together? Like, where's Harmony? They told us that they were gonna do things, and then they didn't do them, or they changed the names, and so we were all confused. And, you know, I get that some people might have been confused about Morgan or whatever, but it's a common name. I work with 3 Morgans. It's okay. You can have people with the same name. If you make them interesting on their own, it'll be fine. Like, we'll get it. That's Morgan M, that's Morgan G, that's Morgan P. Like, what the heck ever, you know what I mean? And so it doesn't make a shit ton of sense. Like, anyway, but Harmony, where is she? I feel like she would have been so much fun. But she's not here. So, also, what are we doing with Spike? Really, what are we doing with Spike? He's had a few neat things to do. I love the issue when Buffy had to feed him with her own blood. I thought that was really neat, and it made me feel all ishy the way it ought to, and it brought up these great questions. And I, like, a couple issues ago when Faith was ugly about how he had to, like, mercy kill the cyborg soldier guy. That was really good stuff. But what is his arc? What are we doing with Spike? I feel like this has been the biggest problem for the Buffy comics. Season 8, no Spike, shows up at the very end, kind of inconsequential. Season 9, very little Spike, shows up at the end, kind of inconsequential. Season 10, Spike-tastic, lots of Spike all over the place. And then once you make Buffy and Spike into a happy couple, where does the story go? And you know, I really have come around on Spike. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I've come around on Spike. I've come around on Buffy. Like, it's all well and good in the Slayerhood, but I'm just like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what it is that Spike is going through this season. I can tell you what Willow's going through. I can tell you what even Dawn is going through. But Xander and Spike and Giles, like, all of our dudes get the shaft. What the heck? And Buffy, I cannot get over this notion that Buffy would just take back all the power, house it in herself, and feel okay with that. And I get that she was a little conflicted, but she was like, woohoo, I got all the power! And Buffy, it's just like, again, I feel like these problems with the government are all just problems for Buffy. Like, I really have a big problem with just undoing our entire, like, big season 7 finale. It was all full of hope and, like, power, and now it's like, sorry girls. I mean, like, think about it. And, like, what's happening to Nadira? Because, you know, Nadira, she was all, like, infected with the Magic Town magic. Don't know where that thing went to. It went into hibernation, conveniently. And then, you know, she was all, like, animated by it, and she could kind of, like, coerce it to do things. Does she still have her, like, magic all up in her? Because, you know, at the end of season 10, she was still all glowy on one side, so I would imagine that she still has, like, some residual magic in there. So even if she's not still a Slayer, she might have some Magic Town magic in her. But who knows, because we haven't even mentioned Nadira all season. I don't think Faith even brought her up at all. Sophronia and Lavinia haven't brought her up. We don't know what's going on with Ko, and I get it, like, Nadira's an Angel and Faith character, but she's a friggin' Slayer. And the other thing is, like, Magic Town. If these satellites go global, Hackney is gonna be in a bunch of trouble. Like, everybody there is, like, half magical. Or, like, mostly magical. Or, like, crazy, like, their life source is from magic. And so I don't feel like our season is long enough to really deal with all these things. And I feel like if you're going to be dealing with these issues, you need to draw a bigger picture. Like, me sitting here and saying, oh, it's, well, make America whatever again. Like, it only goes so far, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to paint a picture of the world, not just of Buffy's experience. We've worked so hard for so long to make this world big and then shrink it down again and then make it big and then shrink it down again. And it's just like, to what end? If we do get a season 12, which has anybody else heard about that? Do you know if we've got a season 12 coming down the pipeline? Because I don't. And I don't know what the world will look like in season 12. I had a very clear idea of what season 10's theme was going to be. Just about maybe a quarter of the way through, and I was like, ding, it was like, ding, I got it, you know? Whereas this one is just like, okay, fight the power by taking other people's power. I don't get it. And so, I will say that, like, the press secretary, it was a pretty smart thing, like, because, you know, the reason that everybody had a problem with, like, Sean Spicer was that he wasn't the star of the show. Like, that's Trump, right? He wasn't the star of the show, but he was the host of the show. And so he's the one that has to get out there and speak. And so it turns out that this whole time, like, the press secretary in the Buffyverse has been the host of this whole show. Like, we kept seeing her making these announcements on the television, making these announcements to the internment camps. And then, like, whoop-de-doo, it's her show. And so, I like that. It actually made a shit ton of sense the more I thought about it. But at the same time, like, what's her name? I could probably go back and maybe her name is mentioned somewhere in one of the earlier issues, but, like, I don't know that bitch. And so, like, where are the stakes? You introduce this villain in the penultimate issue, and then we're gonna get rid of her. Spoiler alert. So that's the whole thing. So yeah, I'm really not looking forward to the season finale of Buffy, and we got a couple issues of Angel left for them to get their shit together, but I mean, good luck, man. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do a little bit of viewer feedback for us. This isn't gonna be like a viewer feedback proper episode. Oh crap, where am I? This new YouTube thing is just screwing me up. I don't even know how to navigate this new thing. It's ridiculous. Oh, here we are. Viewer feedback.
Sorry, this is taking friggin' ever. Okay. I'll get a few comments on here. Oh wait, this isn't the one.
This is not the one. Number 10. Oh, number 11. There we go. Alright. Oh, so I was telling Peter Oliver he was so smart to have been guessing this since the end of season 10. He's like, I can't believe it would happen, especially not to Faith. There's a whole big fucking thing about Faith. Tricycle Belle. That's a cute name. Blah, 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 blah. She's gonna have to give that power back or she's gonna look like a massive hypocrite, I agree. Hayden McGee thinks it's all just to tie it into the Frey future, but I just don't like that. Okay, so Killinger Blue thinks that next season will be about the fallout of all these Slayers not having their power. But we already did that in season 9 when all the Slayers were mad at her for destroying magic, so I feel like we've gone down that road. Christine. Hey, you're back, Christine. She says she feels gypped that this is our big bad. Like, whoop, here it is. And no, Christine, still, I haven't heard anything about season 12, sorry. Alright, and then I've got a veritable novel from Ken Miller. Ups and downs. Yeah, we don't know the press secretary. Yeah, Buffy fucking up the whole Slayer line. Like, how did you get the power from Faith? It doesn't make sense. Ugh, it's dumb. Yeah, like, what's happening with all the other friggin' Slayers? I'm right there with you. Ugh. Matthias D'Angelo. Shared power. Won't be gone. They'll reverse the spell. It shouldn't have affected Faith. I'm right there with you. Nobody likes this press secretary reveal. S.J. Worthington says that the press secretary reminds her of Faith's Nada watcher, Gwendolyn Post. Yes, S.J. Worthington thinks this might be the end. And here's the thing, like, they've been doing this for 9 years. Like, why stop now? Like, why stop now? Especially on this note. I mean, I was having fun with it for a while, but then it just went... Like, the ugly Faith, and then the press secretary. It's crazy. And no Harmony, like they promised us. I mean, watch. I'm gonna get my issue in a couple hours, and then whoop-de-doo, Harmony's gonna be there, and I'm gonna look like an asshole, but... Oh, it's just... It's so crazy. It's crazy, man. So that's what you guys thought. And you've already heard what I thought. And I really don't know what to predict. Here's a prediction. Buffy saves the day! Woo! That was challenging. But yeah, I mean, I'm just disappointed, you guys. And I can see that many of you are as well. And hopefully we'll nip this shit in the bud and we'll all have been wrong and we'll all be like, hey, season 12! But we'll just have to see. So anyway, I hope you're having a great 2017 so far, everybody. I'm Presnell Young, and you can come right back here to the Buffyngton Post anytime for Buffy the Vampire Slayer reviews, Angel and Faith reviews, Angel and Frederica cruising through time reviews, Buffyverse discussions on the other Slayers, Game of Thrones reviews, and I'm thinking about doing some fun, different stuff while we're waiting to see if Season 12 is ever a thing. So, stay tuned for that. I've got some ideas of stuff I want to do, and if you have suggestions about things you'd like for me to cover, I'm not promising that I will, but I'll definitely think about it. So you can leave those in the comment section down below. Have yourself a great day today, and we'll see you this evening. Bye.
My BFF Joe 730.